Good afternoon and welcome back to Girded with Truth. We are continuing our series on change is inevitable, and today I would like to bring change to the meaning of a word. Today we're talking about new success. By definition, success means the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. And when we look at success, sometimes we see it as wealth. But that is not what success really is. The word success is only mentioned once in the Bible, and it's when God told Joshua about having good success. But the Hebrew word for success is sakal, which means to understand, to behave wisely, to prosper, and to instruct. Joshua chapter 1 verses 7 to 8 says, "Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." So God is telling Joshua that he will have good success, but first he must observe to do. He must behave himself in a certain way. He must understand what he has to do. So if we look at success in the way it really is, we see it as being able to prosper when we walk in a certain way. It's the way we behave, it's the way we carry about ourselves. 1 Samuel chapter 18 verses 14 to 15 says, "And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. Wherefore when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him." Why was Saul afraid of David? Because Saul knew that when David behaved himself in a certain way, he carried about himself in this way of success, then there would be nothing stopping him from accomplishing the things that he was called to do. There would be nothing stopping him from taking the throne, because this has something to do with the way you behave. Success is directly tied to the way you carry about yourself, the way you behave, the mindset you have in walking in or in learning certain things. 1 Chronicles chapter 28 verse 19 says, "All this said David, the Lord made me to understand in writing by his hand upon me, even all the works of this pattern." So David was saying, the Lord made me to understand it. And that word understand is the Hebrew word for success. So because David had successful thinking, because the Lord made him to understand it, he was able to follow the work of God. He was able to internalize what God was saying to him, the laws of God, the statutes of God, the commands of God, and he was able to clearly walk in the path. Nehemiah chapter 9 verses 20 to 21 says, "Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them, and withheldest not thy manna from their mouth, and gavest them water for their thirst. Yea, 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing. Their clothes waxed not old, and their feet swelled not." So success really ties to the word instruct. And because God instructed them, they had good success. Because they listened to the instruction, they were sustained. So in essence, they became wealthy because they listened to the instruction of God. So success is not tied to wealth. Wealth comes after success. Success is tied to your instruction, to the way you learn things, to the way you understand things, and the way you carry yourself in the presence of God. Psalm chapter 14 verse 2 said, "The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God." So success comes in your understanding. You have to be able to understand what God says and then seek Him, because when you come into a level of understanding with God, you go after Him because you understand that your purpose is tied to who God is. And when you understand that your purpose is tied to God, then there will be nothing stopping you. Then you will wake up every day intentionally seeking God, pursuing God, because you would begin to understand things differently. And this is what you call a mind of success, because you now understand what success really is. So you are no longer chasing after money, chasing after wealth. Those things will come, but when you seek God, when you begin to understand your purpose and who you really are and who you were really called to be, then you redefine the word success and begin to understand it the way God sees success and the way He placed it in the earth for people to understand. Psalm chapter 101 verse 2 says, "I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart." So here, this is David telling the Lord he will behave himself wisely. So David is telling God that he has a disposition of success and he will continue doing it in a perfect way. And this is not perfection in the way that you're perfect and you're not doing any wrong. This is perfection in the way that you are focused on God and you are seeking after Him. And David is asking God, when are you coming to see me? Because David in this moment is passionate to meet with the Lord. He is just waiting for the Lord to come and meet with him. And David is saying, I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. So David is saying in the background, where it doesn't even matter to the people, when it's just you and me, I'm going to have this disposition of success. I'm going to behave myself wisely, and I'm going to be a successful thinker, a successful person in my heart, and I'm going to have a successful disposition. So today, if you are looking for success, you need not look any further. You need to grab hold of the principles of God. You need to follow the principles of God. You need to understand, instruct, behave yourself wisely, and prosper in the way, the principles, the statutes that God has positioned in the earth for us to follow. If we walk in the way of God and we gain success, wealth will follow. Don't chase after wealth, because you will not have success. Instead, chase success and wealth will follow. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.